So strategies for spelling. As we know that spelling is equally important to write. So spelling is the writing of one or more words with letters and what do you say, with sound or diacritics, which is very important for understanding the spelling strategies. Now, as I said, diacritic. Diacritic is nothing but your, you can say it's nothing but your accent. Okay, so diacritic is nothing but your accent, which helps the child to pronounce or write the correct spelling. So it helps the child to write the correct spelling. Okay, and spelling is not only with the diacritics, but it also involves your uh, what you say, words or letters and words. So these are the combination where the spelling comes through actually. So diacritics and letter and words gives you a spelling. So to teach this particular spelling, we need to focus on this. Diacritic means accent, letters, and sound. So it's very important. The addition of this diacritic and the letter and the word is very important because these terms will allow you to understand and also make the child learn better spelling. Because you see, it's not always means that you need to process the naming the letters. It's not always process that only you have to teach the spelling with the letters, but rather you need to use the elements of sound, the accent, which is very important element of the language. So that all elements you need to involve to make the child a better, learner. So that's why it is very important to understand the strategies of spelling. So we will first understand the general strategies, then we can see some other strategies which can be also helpful in developing the spelling skills. Now, see, whenever you want to teach a spelling, look at each word. Okay, you can make the child learn like this. Look at each word. For example, we'll state an apple. So this is a word. So when you make a child learn spelling, you can ask the child, look at each word. That means the child has to look at each word. Okay, so child has to look each word. Then you must ask the child, close your eyes and visualize how it looks, how the apple looks, letter by letter. This is A, this is P, this is P, L, E. So letter by letter, and then ask them, stay with one word until you can clearly visualize it. So that's why visualization plays an important role in the spelling. So this particular visualization concept is very important, and it will help some kids to learn the spelling. So it's very clear. See each word, letter by letter, and stay with one word until you clearly visualize it. So they have to see, they have to close their eyes, and then they need to, write down or tell the spelling. So this is the first kind. Then spell each word out loudly. Once you visualize, then you need to make the child spell each word loudly. So spell each word loudly. So here the child has to, spell each word loudly, looking at it, and then ask the child look away and spell it out loudly again several times, number of times before writing it down. So once you visualize, then ask him, you know, see the letters, see the words, and say loudly. Then, you can create a board like this where you write apple. You can ask the child to look. Once the child look, then you increase the length. That means you make the child read several times again and again by from distance. If the child is standing here, make the child move little far. This is how it gets, into memory, and this is how the child is visualized initially. So, the visualization will work. When the child is near to the board, he's seeing clearly. When he goes, he's trying to, visualize and same word with the certain, difficulty, but still the child is visualizing. When he goes, the child may not able to see, but he's pronouncing correctly. So that we need to understand, and we need to, this is one strategy where you can make the child, and try spelling with, Scrabbles, Scrabble tiles. Now, what is the Scrabble tiles? If you all guys know the Scrabbles, I will just write down. Is Crabble. Here, the Scrabble tiles. There are a lot of words also with the Scrabble, uh, like uh, like you would have seen in the newspapers, where you can see a lot of columns. Oh, sorry, this. So, like for example,
Like
here,
bingo
uh,
and
for
ludo, sir.
yes.
Like bingo and ludo.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So what you will do here is, you would have seen a lot of newspapers where you have this kind of things, and you have a lot of alphabets, and you need to rearrange the letters. So that is Scrabble tiles, where you arrange the correct spellings. Sometime you will get some plastic beads of alphabets, and you need to keep on the spellings, okay, like this, and then they will learn the, what is it, words. So that kind of things we can practice for the spellings. We can use the Scrabble tile. This is another strategy, okay, number two, a Scrabble strategy, which we can use to teach the children, because that actually, in this Scrabble, what you can do is you can rearrange the letters until they look right. So that is the main concept of Scrabble. One second, let me erase it. So that's very important actually. Scrabble also, it is used in lot of schools, as well as where you teach individually to the children with learning disability, or normal, even it will work for the normal students as well. Then,
It's like word building only, no? So Sudoku or something like that for
y-
numericals.
yeah, yeah. You'd have seen, that you will get a lot of spelling, artificial, meant to say spelling beats, where you will keep and rearrange the words, that kind of things. And even what you can do is you can break the spelling, you can list down into manageable sections, maybe, you know,
Syllabicate and give them.
yeah, maybe 3 to 5 words. So you can break those kind of words. Um, these are the, see, 3 to 5 words are manageable. Okay, so these words are manageable. You can break down into the different list, and then as take the take the break after mastering each section. That means, for example, A P P L E. This is a 5 letter words. So you can take this kind of letters where child will easily manage, and in this you can ask the child to break in between, most of the time a 3 letter. 1 second. It depends on the syllables and uh, sounds. Okay, if it is like APPLE, then the child can break here, and he can easily manage this AAAPP app. Then again two. First he can learn this, and then he can take some break, and again he can start, and then again he can rejoin it. So that also can be a better. So make sure when you give such 3 to 5 word breakups, uh, make sure it is not too long, because again it will look like a difficult word to them. So 3 to 5 letter you can break um, in a section, so that the child can easily manage and they can learn the spelling very easily. This is another strategy. And then um, sequencing skills. Here in the sequencing, this is little, it depends upon the child's ability. So sequencing skills, or even you can say, what is that? Grouping elements. These both are same. Okay, rather you say a sequencing skills or grouping element, it is the same. So what you're going to do here, it is nothing but, in simpler way, if I want to tell, it's nothing but a word or letters, which we have initially discussed, word or letters. That is a grouping element. So in this, developmentally, uh, an instruction is provided. That means the instruction is provided appropriate way. Like for example, you're going to give different letters, which is, you know uh, it doesn't say, maybe it's a nonsense word, but the child has to create sequence group in a particular words. So as I said, this depends upon the child's ability. If the child is able to sequence, or he is little, like I'm to say, if he's quite 70% in good in spelling, so you can give such kind of activity where the child rearrange, where the child sequence the spellings or words or letters in a correct way. So this is also one way which we can practice. You provide a student opportunity to generalize it, okay, after this. So this also comes under generalization, where you give lot of text and composition paragraphs that they pick um, the spellings and they try to learn. So this thing can be done. And then you can also use an activity that promotes independence. It's not like on the book, on the paper. You can give a lot of activities as well. Activities like, for example, um, you can make the child go and collect the give the newspaper and ask him to collect the words which starts with A, P, or you can say which ends with LE. So that kind of words he might be collecting from the newspaper. So collecting also gives some sense, to understand and to see that the child is promoting himself towards the independence, because this will help uh, to generalize the spelling. So from the newspaper, ask the child to pick the words which starts with AP or even LE. So where the child will be, cutting those and um, keeping aside and trying to learn. So this also help the child to visualize. On Amazon, you can see a lot of flashcard, lot of flashcard where you get around 1500 words for them, where they tell you very clearly what is the starting point, what is the end point. I will try to share that link. You can take, there are around 1500 cards, words, vocabularies, which we can engage the children to learn the spellings. And also, you all see here, it's very important, provide spelling instructions for at least 20 minutes per day. It's not like, 5 minutes, it's done. No, the timing is very important. Make sure that you give the ample time to understand your instructions. That's very, very important. And then I think one more you have, modeling. Modeling is also a good way to teach the spelling. Now, how you're going to teach modeling? It's very simple, like how you do with your other activity. Like, you can write, ask the child to sit beside you, and you can ask the child, how I write, you write A. Okay, then when you write P, the child write P. This is a teacher and this is a student. So it's kind of modeling. Sometime you'd have seen in the classrooms, the teacher write, the student copy on the book. So individually here, the same thing can be done. You know, how I write, even you have to write. If teacher writes like this, the student also try to model in this way. Okay, so this is also good. And here you need to remember with sound. So whenever a teacher is telling, teacher must say A, then even the student must pronounce and write A. So that's how you can model the spellings of the words or word, or you can write letter correctly. And the next one, the highlighters. That is also a very good, way to teach the children the spelling. So highlighting the patterns. Okay, so highlighting. Sorry, what I'm writing here. 1 second. Um, so what I was saying, highlighters. So highlighters is also very important. So here, main thing you're going to highlight. It might be in the paragraph, or even if you take a single, word. So you can highlight, like A, P, app. So that can be highlighted, uh, so that the child can attribute, so that the child can discover himself. Yes, I have to read the highlighted word first, and then I need to go another highlighted word, which tells me some meaning. So you can highlight this particular word with maybe a yellow color, then it might be some other colors highlighting. So that's very important. Okay, so you have to highlight so that the child can learn. Okay, so that is also one strategy which you can practice. And see, whatever the strategy is, you have to give the ample opportunity to practice until the child gets a correct feedback. Okay, child must get a correct feedback. So whatever the strategy, make sure that the child has given the ample time. That means lots of time to make himself a correct, or until he gets a correct feedback. And that's very important. Encouragement is also very important. So if you're encouraging the child will show a better competency in learning the spelling. Okay. And one more, make sure that students look at each word, when they close their eyes. So make sure that visualization um, will work better. So in that way, you can make the child. And I said the Scrabble board also, which you can use. We can use also a computers nowadays. You can see computer strategies also available, accessibility. So you know, computer accessible is also works good, and it is better, and it is very effective. It is very effective to learn the spellings, where you get a lot of softwares, or you can customize those particular things. But most of the time in computer accessibility, you can see, the student, those who have high ability, they can attract it, they can learn better way. Whereas severe kind of learning disabilities, you require some sort of material where they can feel, where they can, understand the concept they require more time. That's the concept. Okay, so these are the general strategy which we have discussed. Now let us see few other strategies which will help to, teach spelling to the children with learning disability. Now, what are the other strategies? Like, make sure that you develop phonemic awareness. We have already, discussed this, but still, phonemic awareness is very important. So, develop the phonemic awareness. Here, you have to select the word. You have to select first. You have to select the word, which child wants, or which you have taken as per your objective, or what is your expectation. The selection of the word can be from the books. It can be from the books, or even from the poetry, from the rhymings. Even you can take from the rhymings or songs. There are a lot of ways. Even the newspaper, you can take the words from anywhere, and discover together how to know this word, how one word can help to recognize other. So by changing, for example, um, let us say if I have taken which word, track, track, tracking, or if I have taken a word called track from the book. Now we can make the child to discover the things which looks similar. For example, what are the similar words like sat, which sounds, or sometimes it all look like a pack. So there will be a lot of words like this in the phonic uh, areas, where you can ask the children to discover such kind from the newspaper, from the books, or from any kind of medias. See, this will help the child to become a good reader and writer, because phonic is very important in spelling. So this you can explore, develop phonic awareness is very important in teaching spelling skills. Then you can also explore the sound, exploration. So explore sound. This is another strategy. So here what you're going to do is you're going to list word on the chart paper, or if you have a chart paper, so you can list all the words, number one, number two, number three, number four, number five. So you can list the words on the chart paper. For example, the words with A, or the words with, like the words with A, you know, A, or the word with the K. So that kind of sounds you can list out. The A and the K, like kite. Uh, it might be a cat. So where the sounds the child has to explore the sound, the school, or even you can use the school, or something like bike. So where you can use those sound of A and K, or whatever the sound you take. Even you can take a cake. So whatever the sound letter you select, that kind of words, you can make the child explore with the sound, because this will help the children to identify the letters that represents the sound. That's important actually. So
So,
yeah.
so you mean to say the sound of A in the first position, in the middle position,
No,
and
no,
in
it's
the
not
last
about
end position?
it not about the position. It is just exploring the sound. Like for example, cat. So if you have selected the two letter like A and K, then where the A comes, here also you see K, but here, you have a K as well. So cake, which you give a more stress on those letters sound which you have selected, so that kind of things. Here it doesn't give positioning, but it helps to identify the letters that represent the sounds actually. Okay, from the
Okay,
word.
sir.
So
Sorry,
as I
sir. Like,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
as a
actually, when we are giving any example, and if the letter is in between, and the next sequence would be in the, I mean, first place, the child won't get confused, sir.
see here, the main aim of exploring the sound is to help the children to identify the letters that represents the sound. Now we are taking just A, right? So we are just focusing on this because this is representing the sound A. So we are looking on that which represents the sound. If I would have selected like T, okay, so I may represent this, T may represent this sound. So it's not like when the child is, for example, the child has a difficulty to learn the spelling, cat. So you're going to you know select those particular letter which represents that sound. So for example, if I select T, so cat. So I'm going to represent T as a sound, which helps me to underline that this is the sound and understand the spelling. So here you need to underline this and ask the children to group the word accordingly, so that different way of sound is represented. For example, kite, bike, cake, cat, school. So these are the things which you can. The main thing here is you need to identify the letter sound. That's it. That's exploration of sound and the spelling. So for example, sometime you would have seen some children is not able to, combine these two sounds, A and T, when you say. So this is a good strategy where you can select those particular letter which represents the sound. It might be T. So ask the child to underline T, then A, then A, T. So this is how you make the child, learn the spelling or explore the sound. So you can explain the student that you must say the word to listen, you must sound it. You must not get confused by referring the sound of particular letter or name. Okay, so so that other sounds are explored, and you can ask the children how this will help them for their writings. So these things, these strategies can also be used when you assess the child clearly that this is my child's level. Okay. Then you also can use spelling patterns. So spelling pattern is also very good strategy where you can make your child learn. Here in the spelling pattern, you need to tell the children that thinking about what a word look like is useful spelling strategies. So what they will do, they are going to explore some common spelling pattern together. For example, look for a list of word with you know with EA. So for example, you have selected this EA. So child has to look the list of words which ends with EA. Okay, now for example, what are the words which ends with EA? For example, BE, sorry, uh, not beard. Okay, so what are the words which we can, like bead? You have like the word called dead. Somewhere you can use EA. This is
Heat.
EA. Yeah, heat. Then read, then heat.
Red.
Yeah. So, these are the things where the children can discover the spelling patterns. Okay, discovery. So you can ask the child to discover the pattern. So this is the pattern which you have selected the child to discover. So the child will see the book, see the paper, see the newspaper, see the magazines, and they will try to discover and write down on the paper. And even they need to pronounce it, where you must ask the child to identify and underline, or you can ask the child to identify and write down on the book. Okay, and you can make the child so that this can be done in the similar way, like you can select ER. Okay, like ER, so where the child can use you know greater. Then there are a lot of other things where the child breaking. Okay, so there are a lot of other way where the child can discover the things. So this is another way which we can make the child learn the spellings. So all the strategies requires the time. You need to give a time and make the child understand that this is how you're going to learn, and then make the child to practice independently, because until another child practice independently, the child may not able to generalize it. When he goes, a child may not able to think about spelling. You need to encourage a lot so that the child himself checks the spelling. Child must become a spelling checker himself, so that they will be correctly modulating or manipulating the spellings when they write the paragraphs, or when they read, when they pronounce the things. So that can be also done. The next one, uh, it is number 4. The next one may be, oh, I think you all must connect once again, because it will get disconnect. So immediately after 2 minutes you can connect.